You're 26, stuck in a gray cubicle that reeks of burnt coffee. You're refreshing a spreadsheet that isn't even yours. Your manager walks by and doesn't even glance at you. Nobody in that office sees you at all. That's the exact moment everything changes. Your phone buzzes. It's not spam. It's not a newsletter. It's an invitation. A shell company you built 11 months ago, almost as a joke, just closed its first real acquisition. A tiny logistics software firm nobody else wanted. You paid $40,000 for it. The numbers on the term sheet don't add up until you read them twice. It's already worth triple what you paid. Your hands go cold, and not because of the money. It's because of what it means. You build something invisible, and it's alive. You close your work laptop like nothing happened. You smile at a coworker who asks if you're okay. You say you're fine. You are not fine. You are standing at the edge of something enormous, and no one around you has any idea. That night, blinds down, you open the real folder. Not the spreadsheet from your day job. The one labeled personal projects, holding 11 months of quiet, obsessive architecture, an LLC in Delaware, a holding entity in Wyoming, 3 bank accounts under names that don't sound like you, a plan that started as a hobby, now a weapon. You remember how it started. $600, a domain name, and a registered agent fee. You bought a failing e-commerce brand from a burned-out founder for less than a used car. You fixed the checkout flow in a single weekend. You told no one. You posted nothing. You let it run quietly for 4 months. It made $11,000 in profit before you sold it for $31,000. The buyer never learned your real name. That was rule 1, and you wrote it down that same week. Never be visible. The moment people know what you're building, they start asking why, and why is a door that lets them in. You didn't spend a cent of that money on yourself. Half went into a second acquisition, a directory site with decent traffic and a lazy owner. Half went into legal structure, because you already understood something most people your age never do. The entity matters more than the asset. You form a holding company. Everything you buy now belongs to it, not to you. You become a shadow behind a shadow. 3 months later, the directory site triples its ad revenue after you rebuild the back end at 2 a.m. You're still showing up to your day job at 9, still nodding through meetings about targets that feel like someone else's life. You are living 2 timelines at once. In one, you're an underpaid analyst. In the other, you're quietly assembling an empire. By month 7, the holding company owns 4 small businesses. Combined value, around $210,000. You haven't told a single person. Not your person, not your girlfriend, especially not the one time you almost mentioned it, some instinct told you to stop talking. You listened, the rules multiply as fast as the money does. Never keep more than 2 acquisitions in the same industry, so no single failure can gut you. Never let a seller meet you in person. If you can help it, faces get remembered, and remembered faces get talked about. Never brag, not even privately, not even to yourself in the mirror. Pride is the first leak. You start reading contract law instead of sleeping. You learn what an indemnification clause actually protects you from. You learn how a badly structured earnout can quietly bankrupt an operator. Yours never are. You learn the difference between an asset purchase and a stock purchase, and which one hides your name better. Then the first real risk arrives. The logistics software company, the one from the opening moment, the one that tripled overnight, the seller, a nervous man in his 50s, wants more money after the deal already closed. He claims you misrepresented the terms. He starts making calls, not lawsuits yet, just calls to people, to a local business paper. Your name isn't attached to anything public, but your holding company's registered agent is. And that's a thread. And threads unravel. Your stomach drops. For the first time, you realize this could actually collapse. Not the business. You, the identity you spent nearly a year folding into darkness. You do something you've never done. You meet him. A parking garage that smells like oil and concrete. 7 a.m, before your day job. You bring documentation, timestamps, emails. Every proof point that the deal is clean. You're calm on the outside. Inside, your heart is a drum solo. He listens. He goes quiet. He takes a smaller settlement, $8,000, and walks away. You drive to work that morning shaking. Not from fear, from something closer to hunger. You just protected something you built from nothing, using nothing but paper and nerve. It's the first time you understand money isn't the dangerous part. Exposure is. 10 months in, the holding company crosses 7 figures on paper. $420,000 in real liquid value. You still live in the same apartment. Still drive the same car with the check engine light you've ignored for a year. Because Rule 3, written in permanent marker on the inside of your closet door where no one will ever look, says, never let your lifestyle become a receipt for your success. You quit your day job around month 11. No dramatic resignation, just a quiet 2-week notice and a story about wanting to freelance. Nobody suspects a thing. Your manager wishes you luck. You almost laugh at how easy the disguise is. Freed from the cubicle, you move faster. You acquire a small invoicing tool for contractors, paying $110,000, most of it pulled from profits of the businesses before it. You negotiate the deal over encrypted messages, with a broker who doesn't know your face. Within 4 months, you've doubled its monthly recurring revenue just by fixing onboarding friction most operators are too lazy to touch. This is when the psychological weight starts to shift. In the beginning, you built because you were angry at being invisible, angry at watching others get promoted for less effort than you gave for free. Now, you build because stopping feels unbearable. You wake at 5 a.m., not because you have to, but because your brain won't let you rest. You start speaking less to the people you love. Your girlfriend asks why you seem distant. You tell her work is stressful. It isn't a lie. It's a smaller truth hiding a bigger one. You start to notice the cost of secrecy, compounding just like your revenue. Every dinner where you lie by omission. Every family gathering where someone asks if you're doing okay financially, and you shrug like you're barely getting by, while your holding company quietly closes a deal worth more than your parents' house. The mask gets heavier every month. You keep wearing it because the mask is the moat. By month 14, you're just under $2 million in enterprise value across 6 companies. You hire your first employee, a virtual assistant abroad who has no idea what you actually own. She thinks she's helping a small consulting agency. You tell yourself this protects her too. Some part of you almost believes it. The escalation sharpens from here. A bigger, better-funded competitor notices one of your assets performing suspiciously well in a niche market. They send an unsolicited, aggressive buyout offer, $1.8 million, for the logistics software company alone, the same one that started this whole chapter. You sit with the offer for 6 days. Selling means a massive liquidity event, enough to change your bank balance permanently. But selling also means paperwork, due diligence, lawyers digging into ownership structures. Exactly the kind of light you've spent over a year avoiding. You counter instead of selling. You offer them a minority licensing deal, your back-end technology, under a different brand for $400,000 upfront, plus royalties. It keeps you invisible. It keeps you in control. They agree, reluctantly impressed, never knowing the person negotiating through an intermediary is 27 years old and has never once appeared on a company website. The internal shift deepens here too. You start to feel something you don't say out loud, not even to yourself. Contempt. Quiet and cold, for people still trading their one lifetime for someone else's paycheck. You catch yourself judging friends for complaining about a bad boss, and you hate that reaction in yourself. Because a year ago, you were exactly them. Power doesn't just give you leverage, it rewires what you consider normal. At month 18, the holding company's combined valuation crosses $9 million. You buy your first real asset for yourself, quietly, a modest 3-bedroom house, paid in a way that doesn't trace neatly back to any single acquisition. You still drive an old car. You still wear the same 3 sweaters in rotation. The paranoia doesn't fade with the number. If anything, it sharpens. Because now there's more to lose. Around month 2022, an investigative blogger who covers mystery holding companies as a hobby starts asking public questions about the entity that licensed technology to the bigger logistics competitor. Your name isn't mentioned yet, but your registered agent's name is, and someone in the comments starts connecting dots that shouldn't be connectable. Your pulse doesn't just spike. It stays elevated for days. You barely sleep. You seriously consider dissolving the whole structure and starting over under cleaner paper. You consult a lawyer, paying in cash equivalent transfers, someone recommended by someone who owes you a favor from deal 3. He tells you the exposure is minimal, but not zero. Minimal, but not zero becomes the sentence that haunts your showers for a week straight. You restructure. You spend $80,000 in legal fees, creating a cleaner layer between you and every asset. An umbrella entity, registered somewhere the blogger will never think to look, run by a registered agent who has never met you and never will. The blog post about the mystery empire runs anyway. It gets 4,000 views. Nobody in your real life ever sees it. You exhale for the first time in 11 days. By month 28, you sit at $480 million in total enterprise value. Across a portfolio of 19 businesses, software tools, logistics platforms, niche e-commerce brands, and one small regional bank stake, acquired almost as an experiment in influence rather than income. You have met maybe 6 of your business partners in person ever. Your face appears on 0 company documents that a casual search could find. Your family still thinks you do consulting. In the quiet hours, you start to understand something uncomfortable. The $600 that started this wasn't really the beginning. The beginning was the moment you decided invisibility was more valuable than recognition. That being underestimated was a weapon sharper than any resume. That the world rewards the people it never sees coming. By month 31, an offer lands for the entire holding structure. Not one asset this time, the whole architecture. $62 million structured across cash and earnouts from a private equity group that spent 4 months trying to figure out who actually controls everything they're buying. Your lawyer handles every call. Your name touches nothing. You sit in the same apartment you almost left 2 years ago, staring at a number that used to feel like fiction. And you feel nothing like triumph. You feel something closer to grief. For every dinner you sat through pretending to be smaller than you were. For every relationship that quietly starved on secrecy while the empire fed on it instead, you sign. Somewhere in the world, money moves that will never be traced back to your name. In any headline, any interview, any public record, anyone will casually stumble across. You built something worth more than most people will earn across 3 lifetimes. And to everyone who has ever known you, you're still just the quiet one who does something with computers. You sit there afterward, in the dark, phone in hand, staring at a balance that doesn't feel real yet, and one question sits heavier than all of it combined. If you could build an empire the whole world never saw coming, is the invisibility the real fortune, or is it the loneliest price you'll ever pay for power?